I have a collar and ties in the middle. Nice long sleeves. So these are just carried on 3 rows and then a single crochet around the edge. The border's a double crochet and 50 chains and then back again with a single crochet. We'll go down to the bottom. We've also added on a few extra rows for a bit more length. That's the join at the back. It works out, it's a one size and it'll go from any, like size 10, really big on the size 10, up till about an 18, 20, probably even more, because lots of room in there. And my mum can't have buttons, her fingers can't cope with them, so I've just put a little tie on there and a little collar because it keeps her neck warm. So that is my latest hexagon cardigan. I hope you enjoy the tutorial. Here's a tip for you. When I'm working outside, I'll pop my yarn inside the washing basket, pop the yarn through there so I've got them, the strands are all separate, and I can work outside and they just keep nice and tidy. Sides and the back you'll have two the same. So when you fold the hexagon in half, you're left with the L shape. So you're going to be putting them opposite sides to each other, and then that's where your pattern will be, and going outwards. And then what I do is I'll do sew these ends first, so sew them top bits first, and then I will crochet just down the back here 2 rows, so then that leaves room for the back of the neck, and 2 rows on each side. And then once I've done that, so you're left with your cardigan then, so it'll be all one piece. And then you have the centerpiece as well, because you're going to be working with a big piece, and this is what it's hard for me to show you because I'll try and lay this one flat on the floor as I'm doing it. I'm just trying to explain what I'm doing first, and then you'll be going down the outer, you'll be going down the sleeves in the same colours, or you could do it all in one colour, which would be easier. So then you do your sleeves, and then you would do the down the front, around the side and around the back. So then you would have like a stripy effect here as well. That's what you're trying to explain. And then you could go as long as you want. To start the hexagon cardigan, you need to start with a hexagon. So I've just put a slip knot on there, and I'm going to chain 4. I'm just going to see if you can see, that's too close. Then I'm going to join into the first chain and slip a knot and chain 2. Then I'm going to go into the first loop, the center loop there, circle. There's one there and one there. So we're going into that center, and I'm going to do 6 lots of 3 with the chain 2 between them. So that's 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and all the while I've got the tail end under my finger, which I am crocheting over the ends, so that at the end I'll be able to cinch that together and close the inner circle. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where you would normally stop on a granny square, but we're going to do 2 more. And because we've done the chain, we can just, it's quite strong, so we can pull round and make way for 2 more clusters. It's 1, 2, 3, and a chain 2. And the last set, 1, 2, and 3, chain 2. We're going to join at the top of the first chain 2, which is there. We're going to slip knot into the top of that stitch, and then I'm just going to slip stitch across into the next gap, because we're working into the gaps on the granny square, and then later on when you want you can cinch this up. So we're going to chain 2, and this is our corner row, so we were going to do 6 corners, so it's 3 double crochet, chain 2, and 3 double crochet into the same gap, so they're all into our corner gap. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to go into the next gap, which will be our next corner. So it's 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochet. That's the only thing when you're using scrap yarns, you come across all kinds. Chain 1 between, and we're going to our next corner. So we're just going to do that all the way around, and I will meet you back at the start of this round again. Chain 2, and we're into our last little granny cluster there. And chain 1, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of that first chain 2, and I'm just going to cut this one because I'm going into another colour, so I'm fasten off there. I just fasten off and then start another colour into the corner away from where I've just finished. I'm going for a mid green, so that's like a bottle green, then I've got a sage green, and then I've got a light green. I don't know what the colours are or anything, but it's just what I'm doing, and I thought I would bring you along and show you. So we're going to go in back into this corner because I want to try and crochet over the ends. So I'm into one corner, I'm going to chain 2, and I would do 3, but it always seems to leave a gap, so I always just chain 2, and I'm going to 3 double crochet, chain 2, and 3 double crochet, chain 1, and then we've got a centre piece. So in this gap we're just going to do 1 cluster. So it's 1, 2 and 3, and then we're back into a corner space. So we're just going to chain 1 and 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet, want to chain 1, and we're into our center gap again. So we do a corner, 1 center, 1 corner. In each round the corners will always stay the same, but the center pieces will start to get more and more on each round. And I'm doing 2 rounds in every colour, 2 rounds in, yeah. So I'm taking 1 colour and using it for 2 rounds, and I'm only using 3 colours in this hexagon cardigan. So I will go all the way around, and I will rejoin you at the end of this row. So at the end I'm just going to join into the second stitch when I want it quite, that's it, and just slip, no I don't, I just want to chain 1, and then join to the top. Then I'm going to slip into the corner, so just a slip stitch, and then I'm going to chain 2, and this is my corner, so it's the first one. I always count that as a double crochet, so chain 2 and 3 double crochet into the same gap, chain 1, and then on this side now we've got 2 gaps to fill with the single cluster. So that's 1, 2, 3, that's 1 single cluster, chain 1 and 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and we're back into the corner. Chain 2 and in. So we're going to do that again all the way around. So I'm going to join again to the end of the beginning, sorry, and then I'm just going to slip into this corner, which I didn't have to actually, but it's a way to keep all the ends in the corners, and I'm just going to cut that off, put a knot there, and then I'm going to start my 3rd colour, and then I'm just going to do the same again, starting a corner and I'm going to do, I'm a size 12, so normally for me I'll make 20 rows, 20 rounds. So I'm just going to do that because you don't want to see me just doing the same thing over and over again. And what I'll do on the next part, when I've got this, I'll show you how I measure it, if I haven't done a video and put it at the beginning, which I might do. And then you know where you're at before you start. But I'll re-put it in again here to remind you how I measure myself up. So now we should have 3 centre granny clusters. Okay, so we go around and around, and because I'm doing 2 of each, I end up with the last row is 2 of those. So my body, I like to do my so around my chest and waist is a 40-inch, and this is only for the Hexagon cardigan, so half of that is 20. So from the centre to the outside, I usually find that one of them is an inch. So that's how I work out my 20 inches. So I do 20 clusters, if that makes sense. So when we do our cardigan and the hexagon folds back into the right place, the hexagon is this shape once we half it, kind of. So this is 20, is it? Or is it 10? Right, what I'll show you on this, it's 20, because it's 20 rows. So hopefully you can see on this one, once you get your hexagon shape, you take these 2 edge corners that's close to each other and fold them, and then that's the start of your hexagon shape. But obviously the more you do, the more in shape it'll get. But you can do these for children, so you would maybe only do 10 rows for, say, a 5-year-old, but you would just, all you need to do is do it by your measurements. So I'm 20 inches from on there, on me to there, and then I work out my arms, and then when I put it together, because I like to have it quite loose in the back portion here, you can either add squares, or I just join on and add rows. So do 2 on this row and 2 on that row, and it gives me enough so that it covers the back of my neck. I hope that makes sense, but I will be showing you as we go along as well. So it's coming to now, so if you remember what I said before, you get the 2 edges that's close together, put them together, there's your top edge. So if you're coming up to like 7, 8, 9-year-old maybe, you could stop here at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 rows. We're going to 20, and then we'll stop and just do the back panels. So see you when I've done 20 rows. We've got 2 pieces now of this, so I've gone onto the floor because it should be looking like this, not flat. So you can pick it up in the middle and we're going to your two corners that are close together, right sides together, pull up and then let it drop down. So for the first bit I'm going to attach the top. This is the sleeve. I'm going to do is that the center of the back. So I'm just going to crochet along the top of here. You can see them two edges together. You can either crochet or just over sew it. To attach the green across the top of your shoulder to sleeve edge, we're on the sleeve edge now. We're just going to go through our corners and attach the yarn, and I'm just going to sew through the opposite stitch to opposite stitch. I'm going to do that all the way from the top of the sleeve up to the back seam. So that's all the way across to the back seam. And I'm just single crocheting all the way, and this is going to be my inside seam. I don't want these seams showing. You could do a slip stitch, or you could just sew it if you like, and I'll make you back at the top. So I've crocheted across the top of the both seams. I've also started on this side. I'm doing 2 rows of the sage green down to the bottom on the back seam, so then we've got like an extra piece in the back. So I'm going to carry on the pattern. I'm going to do 2 more rows of the sage green and 1 of the light green in the middle on each side, and then go down the very center with the lightest green. I hope that makes sense. So then you're still in the rows of, you're still in your 2 rows, and you've joined it off. So here we have it's sewn across the shoulder to the sleeve end, and we've joined on and done the medium green and the light green. The light green's got 1 row in each, and I'm just going to sew down the center and join them 2 together, and then we'll be ready to join onto the sleeve ends and do a couple of rounds in each colour on the sleeves till they're a bit longer, but I'm going to leave them wide sleeves, and then join on at the bottom and do some round the bottom. So I've joined the centre pieces together using the lightest, 1 of each row, and then joined, and then I've added 3 rows, well 6 rows altogether to the bottom. I've also done both sleeves, finished with the dark. I am going to try and make the dark the most prominent colour, and I'm going to attach the hood now. I was going to do it separate, but I thought to keep it easier for you, I'm just going to join it on. So what I do is measure 24, because that's the size of the hood that I like, and half it. So we start there, and we've got 2 inches there, and then we're going to come down to about 10 inches down the side. Oh, looks quite long there. That might be too big. me just double check. Yeah, I'll just have to double check then. So come down 10 inches to there, and I'm going to join on to the nearest, probably there would it be. Sorry, I'm going to join there, and I'm going to carry on with the granny clusters, and I'm going to go right round to the other side, which is 10 inches there, and then you've got your 4 inches across the back there. Okay, I haven't got my stand with me, so I'll try and get my stand rigged up and show you as I go along. I'll just put my stitch markers in so we know where to start and crochet round to. So just going in where the stitch markers that I'm going to do my first granny cluster. Sorry, I've got a new camera stand and it goes round your neck and it doesn't seem to align up very good. It's not a stand, it's like a, I forgot what they call it. Feels strange. So we're just going to join on there. I'm on the wrong side still, so I'll bring the extra yarn towards me. Chain 2. I'll try and fold that in. And I'm running out of this colour yarn, so I'll either make the hood or I won't. Oh dear. Or it might be just in the 2 colours, because I think I've got maybe a couple of rows left in the green. So I'm just going to try and crochet over the ends, but I've got a lot to do at the end, so it won't really matter. I've got plenty to sew in later on. Sorry, it's just not a very good angle. I just really wanted to show you what I was doing, so I'm just going to carry on with the pattern. I hope it doesn't look too odd doing too much green together now. And we're still single crocheting 1 in between. And it should be a nice, it's not going to be, because you've got a lot of, they're quite gappy, the holes, so it shouldn't be too warm, but it could be just nice for summer evenings. So I'll just pop you on pause, and then when we get to this top part, I'll show you what I'm going to do then. So I've gone into the last gap on the back of the neck. Chain 1, and then we're going to be working our way down the front side. So I've got a gap, my next gap's there, but I've also got a cluster gap here, so I'm going to go here because I don't want that much of a gap. Then we're going to work our way down the side till our stitch marker, chain 2 or chain 3 and turn. I'll get to the stitch marker first. And now we're on the easier part, so we'll probably be looking at doing about 20 rows. But I will measure as I go. So we're at the end. I'm going to chain 3 and turn. Now we've got a big piece of crochet to turn round, so it's a bit more difficult, and I'm all of a tangle. So I'll do 1 or 2 more clusters and then I'll change the angle, I think, so we can see better. Okay, so we're just going to work our way back to the end of this row. Then I'm going to start changing colours again and carrying on just with this 24 inches for the hood. I've managed to do a few rows on the collar, which was going to be a hood, but now it's just going to have to be a collar because I've only got that much yarn left and it's not going to be enough to make a hood, sadly, so I'm going to have to make another tutorial with some different colour yarn that I'm going to have enough to do the hood. So all I'm going to do now is take the dark green and go all the way around the edge with a double crochet for my border. So I'll do that. I'm just going to join on here and double crochet all the way around and up the side seams like I've done with the sleeves, and I will meet you back when I've done that. I have a collar and ties in the middle, nice long sleeves. So these are just carried on 3 rows and then a single crochet around the edge. The border's a double crochet and 50 chains and then back again with a single crochet. We'll go down to the bottom. We've also added on a few extra rows for a bit more length. That's the join at the back. It works out, it's a one size, and it'll go from any, like size 10, really big on the size 10, up till about an 18, 20, probably even more, because lots of room in there. And my mum can't have buttons, her fingers can't cope with them, so I've just put a little tie on there and a little collar because it keeps her neck warm. So that is my latest hexagon cardigan. I hope you enjoy the tutorial.